Francis Briers, sometimes known as the Rev, and I'm here to offer a spiritual response to life's questions. So, I've started a series on relationships because I get so many questions about that. The last one was on relationship with ourselves, self-love was what that was about, and this next one is moving into relationship with others. So one of the areas that I see people have a lot of difficulty with around relationships with others is the kind of contracts that we form when we first get into a relationship and the dynamics those contracts can create. So a common pattern that I see, there are various versions of this, but a common pattern that I see that might give you a live example of it is that if I get into a relationship with someone, and when we get into that relationship I'm having some difficulty, maybe I've just come from a difficult relationship, or I've experienced bereavement or something else difficult, then when I get into that relationship I may be needing a lot of support or being given a lot of support by the person I get into the relationship with. So there's a kind of dynamic of them being strong and me needing help. Now there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's often, I think, how relationships can form, that the relationship forms around being given some help and some support and then getting to know each other and coming to care about each other. But if that dynamic continues, of one person always being in support and the other person always needing that support, then that's where problems can start to arise. And that can easily happen because when we first get together, unconsciously, we make a kind of contract, we make a kind of agreement about how we're going to be in the relationship. And we do that just through our behaviour and through what becomes the kind of normal behaviour within the relationship, the normal way that we relate to each other. So if we establish that pattern early on of me needing support and the other person being supportive, then for one thing, that's not ideal because they always are in this role of giving the support, so it's unequal. And that can be tough for them, because when do they get supported? Where do they get that support? It can become unequal for them in a way that's untenable. But in some ways, what's often more of a problem is that because that agreement, that pattern is unconscious, that when I get to a place in myself where I'm feeling stronger, more able, when I don't need that support anymore, then again, unconsciously this idea creeps in that I've somehow changed the conditions of the relationship, that I've done something which is breaking the dynamic that has for so long seemed to work. So as I say, even though it's a kind of unconscious pattern that happens underneath the surface, it can have a big impact on how happy we feel in the relationship. And it can even start to draw out slightly strange behaviour from the other person. The person who's been supportive for so long can suddenly be undermining or feel betrayed because I've become more strong. It can almost seem like they want me to be weak. They want me to be in need. They want me to be in pain. Now, the odds are that's not actually true. The odds are that consciously on the surface, that's not why they think. That's not how they feel. But unconsciously underneath the surface, because of this profound shift in the dynamic of the relationship, there can be a discomfort that draws out these odd and even unsupportive or destructive behaviour. So without a significant level of consciousness and awareness about what the contracts might have been when we got together, and how they might need to change as we change as individuals over time, without a high level of awareness being brought to those things, I see a lot of people, and I've been fallen foul of it myself at times, and I'm sure will again, but I see a lot of people hit really rocky patches in the relationship when actually good things are happening. Someone who has been in pain is feeling better and more able to support themselves, and that should be a wonderful and blessed time. And yet it can become a very painful time as the shift in the relationship creates a power struggle or a discomfort as the conditions of the relationship change. So I hope that's a valuable thing for you to reflect on. It may be worth looking at in your own relationship, even having some conversations about what are the agreements that we made coming into this relationship. Are they still true? Is there anything we want to change? As I say, I hope that's useful, and I offer these ideas, this perspective, as ever, with love.